In 1936, one of Britain's most beautiful vehicles wasn't carrying millionaires or the royal family. It was carrying dirty laundry. Its streamlined body looked like it belonged on a record-breaking race car or a cutting-edge aircraft, but instead of chasing speed, it spent its days cruising through the streets of Glasgow, collecting bedsheets for the local laundry. The 1930s were the age of Streamline Moderne, when speed became a design trend. Trains, airplanes, and even household appliances suddenly adopted sleek, aerodynamic shapes, even when they had no real need for speed. In Britain, the movement was embodied by the silver A4 locomotives. The message was simple. Streamlined meant fast, modern, and progressive. Before long, it no longer mattered whether something actually moved fast. It only had to look like it could. And into this world, obsessed with sleek lines and the illusion of speed, came Holland Coachcraft. The company was founded around 1930 in Govan, Glasgow, by William Holland. Many of its best-known vans were built on the Albion Model 119 chassis, the lightest chassis in Albion's range, designed to carry between 760 and 1,000 kilograms. Under the hood was an ordinary 3.39-liter four-cylinder petrol engine, the same basic type used in regular commercial vehicles. And under British law in the 1930s, commercial vehicles in this class were limited to about 30 miles per hour, no matter how fast they looked. So these vans looked like racing machines, but in speed, they were no different from the bread van down the street. All the speed was an illusion of shape. An ash frame, birch plywood, thin steel body panels, shaped into smooth flowing lines, and polished aluminum details that completed the futuristic look. And that is what really caught my attention. Holland wasn't trying to build the fastest van. He built a van people wanted to stop and look at. The main buyers of this luxury on wheels were, surprisingly, laundries. Collars Limited in London, which advertised itself as the largest collar laundry in the world, became one of Holland Coachcraft's best-known customers and received its first streamlined van as early as 1933. By the mid-1930s, these machines were already working on the streets of several British cities. In Glasgow, Castlebank Laundry had its bright yellow vans. In Liverpool, they were used by Pioneer Laundry. And in Manchester, by Universal Laundry. But this was not just delivery. It was advertising on wheels. People stopped in the street to look at the van, and then asked about the laundry service. The vehicle itself was bringing in customers. The vans became so recognizable that they entered popular culture in two very different ways. In 1935, Meccano released a Dinky Toys model of the van, numbered 31, describing it as one of the most modern commercial vehicles on the road. The toy was produced only briefly, but today, collectors pay prices that would have amazed the drivers who washed these vans every Saturday morning. In the mid-1930s, the British government invested almost £2 million in a new industrial park at Team Valley in Gateshead, an ambitious project meant to revive an entire region. Holland Coachcraft became one of the first companies expected to operate there. For William Holland, it was a chance to move from design work and individual commissions into real production. But even in the new factory, these bodies remained complex and expensive. Parts could be made through a standardized process, but the finished body was still adapted for each customer, which meant production was difficult to scale. Then, in September 1939, the war began. Demand for stylish, custom-built vans collapsed. In 1940, the company was liquidated. While preparing this episode, I tried to find at least one Holland Coachcraft van that might have survived, but I couldn't find a single confirmed original example. All that seems to remain are archive photographs and a tiny Dinky Toys model that can now sell at auction for far more than anyone in 1935 could ever have imagined. Holland Coachcraft was supposed to become a symbol of a new industrial future, but the company did not survive even the first year of the war. And maybe the saddest part is not that it carried laundry. It is that everyday delivery in the 1930s sometimes looked more beautiful than most vehicles we see today. What do you think? Could everyday delivery ever look this beautiful again? Let me know in the comments.